So as much as I love the iPhone 16 Pro for filmmaking, this right here does a few things the iPhone can't. This is the Insta360 X5, which is an 8K 360-degree action camera that packs a ridiculous amount of features. Before I jump into that though, let's talk about how I messed up pretty badly. Don't be an idiot like me, wear a helmet, and from there I'm gonna throw it back to JR. So we're out here, battle wounded all. Drop a like or drop an F in the chat. This is an action camera, so I had to bring something. I'm not gonna be out there snowboarding or surfing, but in my most recent video, I mentioned Paul Correa, so I think that got me in the hockey mindset. Whether or not that was a good idea is still up for debate, but at the very least, we got some entertaining shots. Real quickly, want to give a thank you to Insta360 for partnering with me and supporting the channel. And as a thank you to you guys for watching and supporting, I want to give one of these away. For a chance to win, it's super simple. Just watch this video through and drop a comment with what the most entertaining moment was. So there is so much to like about this camera, but one of the wildest things about it is the replaceable lens design. Why would you want to replace the lens? Well, if you fall on your or you shoot a hockey puck at it, those are pretty legitimate reasons. On a serious note though, this is an action camera. So I think with the replaceable lens design, that's gonna give you peace of mind to where you can throw this in situations you might normally not, and just in case something happens, you're good to swap. It was kind of wild talking to Insta360 and I was like, wait, you want me to try and break the lens on purpose? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, yeah? And they were like, yeah. So this is the aftermath after my Mighty Ducks episode was all said and done. Funny enough, it wasn't the fall. It wasn't the hockey puck shot that damaged it. I had actually gaff taped the selfie stick to the hockey stick, went for a slap shot, it came tumbling down from about 5-6 feet, and that was what did the trick. Even after that though, it worked surprisingly well, and because there is so much room for activities, you can see where the scuff is, but there's still also so much usable footage. There is a bigger, better sensor, useful AI integration. It is IP68 waterproof and works with so many useful accessories. Like I said though, the whole point of this is that you have that reassurance to replace the lens if something like this happens. So here's that lens kit. We take the old damaged one out, pop in the new one, and all of a sudden we are good to go, brand new, just like nothing happened. I do also quickly want to mention there is a link in the description and also it's pinned in the comment section, but the first 25 people who pick this up will get a free lens replacement kit. Now, if you've never used a 360-degree camera before, the amount of shots and variety you can get is pretty mind-blowing. If you hadn't pulled the trigger yet though, this might be the time to jump on that because I feel like with this, the X5, it's a culmination of everything that Insta360 has developed over the years into one complete package. As most of you know, I have fallen in love with mobile filmmaking. I shoot a ton on iPhone, but I think this gives me something that my iPhone can't do. And because of that, it's a great parallel tool that now lives with me in my bag and I take it everywhere. One of those places that I take this with me to is physical therapy. It's a quick, simple way to throw something up and capture the session. Jokes aside, that fall earlier could have gone so much worse. And from my position as someone who has gone through a traumatic brain injury and is still coming out of it and working on it every single day, had I whipped my head back at all, it could have been a disaster outcome. But I think all of the work that I've done in physical therapy, being able to strengthen my neck, work on posture and core, that's truthfully what braced me for that impact and is what allowed me to get up so quickly. Shout out to Kenny and Henry and also Dr. Hafer because I know I'm getting checked immediately after this video goes live. Getting back to the camera though, one of the other ways we tested this out was by taking it on a hike and threw it in all of its 8K glory. One of the other really incredible things with this camera though is surprisingly the microphone, which is not something you'd expect on an action camera, but I could probably really use this as dialogue audio right now as I'm talking to the camera and is probably gonna sound ridiculous. I've also been using this on a documentary on the Palisades fire that happened here in California, and I think that was when I really realized how absurd the mic was. To sit here and look at it and to see nothing, it's heartbreaking. That video is near and dear to my heart and should drop soon, so if you haven't turned on notifications, please do so, because watching that would mean a ton. From there are two main ways you can take full advantage of the footage that you shoot with this. The first is the mobile app, which I think is better for quick, fun edits. And then you hop over to the desktop app. That's where you can really deep dive and get that granular control. So jumping into the desktop app, this is Insta360 Studio. And as much as this is an action camera, I've also realized it's a great just everything camera. One thing that I try to encourage others to do in terms of storytelling and filmmaking is just capture the moment and then tell the story later. And with this, it's kind of nice where you can just set it up. You're not too worried about the frame or the composition because you have so much flexibility in post. Real quickly taking you through the different modes, because again, at its core, this is an 8K action camera, but you can bring things down to 5.7K plus, 5.7K, 4K, and then beyond that, in terms of video modes, you can also shoot photo. Pure video is going to allow you to get better low light situations. You have Insta frame, time lapse, time shift, bullet time, loop recording, road mode, star lapse, burst, interval, and then finally we're back to photo. Also, for whatever reason, if you don't want to take advantage of the 360-degree shot, you can also use this in single lens mode as well. The other thing that's really nice with the desktop app is how smooth everything is. So you can go from a quick punch in to just like completely zooming out to that kind of ridiculous shot. You can scroll around, see your scene, and this is what I was talking about, where you kind of just set the camera up and don't worry about anything because you have everything to mess around with here. So painting the picture here, I haven't skated in I don't even know how long. I used to love hockey as a kid. There's not many options here in Southern California in terms of ice, so I would just kind of get away with street hockey. Thought it would be a good idea, decided to lace them up and just see how things went. You can of course export the entire clip if you want, but it's nice just to set ins and outs. And that shot in particular right here, as I kind of come through, you can see the flexibility where it's coming, and then we just like, that's crazy. There's so much flexibility you have in post, from stabilization to the type of lens guard you're using or the type of case you're using. You could adjust color if you want. You can adjust the audio mode. And I think right here, I think this is a good example. That's where I spilled. I'm such an idiot, and I'm also very lucky that this could have gone so much worse. I think the wild thing here is just locking onto myself is I somehow didn't hit my head. And I think, again, talking about the physical therapy, that's a testament to that working, and I was able to just have enough strength to where I didn't completely wreck myself. Now, if we go back to this clip here and we turn flow state stabilization off, you can see it's all over the place. We're gonna throw flow state back on, and it's night and day difference. Something cool you can also do within the app is track the subject. So let's say I wanted to create this as an in and out point. I'll hop over to deep track right here, drag up. It's going to lock me in the frame. And instead of having to worry about keyframes, which you can do manually if you want, this is going to do the work for you and make sure the shot is locked on what you need it to be locked onto. Getting back to that notion that I was talking about of just throwing the camera up and making sure you capture the shot, today was a pretty monumental day. I was hanging out with Bob Clearmountain, who recently lost his studio in the Palisades fire like I was talking about, and he was awaiting arrival and taking a first look at his replacement console. So this was something where the unit weighs like 1,800 pounds. It's just absurd. So things were kind of moving at their own pace. And instead of worrying about, am I capturing the right angle? Am I worrying about battery life? I just threw it up there on the massive stick. Battery life is absurd on this, and we were able to capture the entire thing. So here's go time when they're unloading the console off of the truck. And again, I can sit there, I can reframe, I can zoom in, I could go wild. And this also allowed me to have free hands to where I can get a secondary shot and really help tell the story. Here is the shot of bringing it into the room. And again, I can move things around as I want. I can zoom in, I can zoom out. That's a crazy shot. The other nice thing here while we're connected to the computer sifting through footage is this is also charging the X5. They didn't stop there though, because yes, charging speed is ridiculously fast, but there's also a swappable battery. So I think that is something that is really handy, because in certain situations, maybe you can't run to a power outlet, you have your backup, you swap it and you're good to go. So all in all, I think it's safe to say that Insta360 nailed it with the X5. Again, if you've held off thus far on grabbing a 360 camera, now is the time to grab one. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Jonathan, and I will catch you guys later.